Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going.
Today we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Phoenix Suns and Indiana Pacers. The Suns are heading into Indiana, and honestly, it feels like they're dragging a lot of baggage with them. This team has been an absolute roller coaster and not the fun kind. Sitting at 15-17, they've dropped 3 straight and only managed to snag 1 win in their last 7 outings. For a squad boasting names like KD, Book, and Beal, you'd expect fireworks, but instead, it's been more like sparklers fizzling out. Injuries have kept their big 3 from logging enough court time together, and even when they do suit up, it's like watching a band play out of sync. Their last game against Memphis was a perfect snapshot of their struggles. Durant did what Durant does, pouring in 29 points, while Booker, fresh off an injury, added 16. Beal, though, man, he was almost invisible, scoring just 3 points before checking out with a hip injury. It's unclear if he'll suit up for this one, but even if he does, it's hard to have confidence in what he'll bring to the table. KD's been carrying this team, averaging over 31 during their current skid, but it's a one-man show out there. The lack of depth, defensive lapses, and non-existent chemistry are glaring. And let's not even get started on their record against the spread, 11-21. Yikes, they're just not living up to the hype, and it's tough to trust them in spots like this. On the flip side, Indiana is vibing right now. After a rocky start, they've turned it around, going 7-3 in their last 10 games. That win against Miami? Textbook Pacers basketball. They were sharing the rock like it was hot, dishing out 35 assists and racking up 9 steals. Halliburton is still the guy making everything click, even though his shooting's been a little off. And Toppin? That dude's been a spark, shooting lights out at 55% and bringing energy around the rim. This team's small ball style might not dominate in the paint, but they're fast, scrappy, and relentless. They've shown they can out-hustle teams, and that's going to be key here. The last time these two squared off was back in December, and Indiana pulled off a 120-111 win in Phoenix. They weren't just underdogs, they were 6-point dogs, and they straight up owned that game. It's wild to think they could do that on the Suns' turf, but it's a testament to how much energy and effort this Pacers squad brings. Now they're back home, where they've been even better, and the Suns? They're still trying to figure out which way is up. I have to say, this minus 1.5 line on the Pacers has me scratching my head. We're talking about 2 teams headed in opposite directions right now. The Suns have only managed to scrape together 3 wins in their last 10 outings, while the Pacers are riding high with 7 victories over the same stretch. Sure, the Suns have the edge in the recent head-to-head, winning 7 of their last 10 matchups against Indiana. But honestly, even I, someone who usually pays attention to these kinds of stats, feel like that history doesn't carry much weight here. The Pacers are just the better squad at this moment, no question. If we're basing things on recent form and common sense, this feels like it should be a straightforward Pacers win. But here's the kicker. Those unusually high odds on Indiana make me a bit cautious. Plus, if you've followed the NBA long enough, you know logic doesn't always rule the day. Now, here's my angle. The Suns, when they're on the road, play at one of the slowest tempos in the league. That kind of pace has a way of pulling their opponents into the mud, even a team like the Pacers that thrives on pushing the ball. So, I expect this game to move at a grinded-out pace, well below what Indiana usually likes. With the total set at 235, I don't see it going over that mark. Bottom line? I'm still backing the Pacers to keep rolling and send the Suns home with another loss. But my money is going on the total points staying under 235.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the New York Knicks and Chicago Bulls. This showdown between the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks is shaping up to be an intriguing battle of circumstances. On one side, you've got the Knicks coming off a grueling loss to the Thunder, playing the second leg of a back-to-back. On the other, the Bulls, rested and waiting, desperate to capitalize on the rare advantage they've got in this one. It's a classic tale of fresh legs versus momentum, and I'm here for it. Let's start with the Knicks. They've been one of the top teams in the East, and you can't ignore the firepower they bring to the table. Karl-Anthony Towns has been an absolute monster lately. In their last matchup against the Bulls, he dropped a jaw-dropping 46 points and pulled down 10 boards. The man was everywhere, doing it inside, outside, and everywhere in between. Jalen Brunson, the Knicks engine, was solid in that game too, putting up 24 points and dishing out 8 assists. When Brunson is on, he has that ability to dictate the pace and take over when the game is on the line. But here's the kicker. OG Anunoby and the rest of the supporting cast need to step it up. Anunoby had an off night in the last game, shooting just 5 of 14 from the floor. If he gets going, the Knicks will be tough to stop. Now, the Bulls might not have the Knicks record, but let's not act like they're chopped liver. Zach LaVine was cooking in that last game, dropping 31 points on an efficient 12 of 17 shooting. When LaVine gets into his bag, he's as lethal as anyone in the league. Nikola Vucevic chipped in with a double-double, and Kobe White? He had ice in his veins, sinking those clutch free throws to seal the deal. The Bulls didn't blow the Knicks out of the water in that game. They just executed better in key moments, especially from the charity stripe. That's where they can make their money again tonight. But here's where it gets interesting. The Knicks are walking into this game with some serious mileage on their legs after battling OKC. They're 1-2 this season on the second night of a back-to-back, and it's clear that fatigue can be their kryptonite. On the flip side, the Bulls have had plenty of time to rest and prepare. Sure, they've been inconsistent at home, but let's not ignore the advantage that fresh legs bring, especially when the other team is grinding through a tough schedule. For the Bulls, it's all about playing fast and loose. They love to push the pace, they're one of the fastest teams in the league, and they'll want to turn this into a track meet. The Knicks, on the other hand, thrive in a slower, grinded-out style, and they'll try to impose their tempo to keep Chicago out of rhythm. It's a battle of wills, and whoever dictates the pace will likely come out on top. Defensively, the Bulls have some work to do. They've been leaky at home, giving up buckets in bunches, but they managed to hold their own against Brunson last time while letting Towns go nuclear. That's a trade-off they might be willing to live with again if it means slowing down the Knicks' perimeter attack. When it's all said and done, this feels like a game the Bulls can win, or at least cover the spread. The Knicks are the better team overall, no question, but they're in a tough spot here. Fatigue is real, especially on the road, and the Bulls have just enough firepower and rest to take advantage. I'm not saying it'll be pretty, but I like Chicago's chances to make this a grinded-out win. If LaVine stays aggressive, Vucevic holds his own in the paint, and the Bulls keep their foot on the gas, they should be able to handle business. Knicks might still sneak out a win, but I've got the Bulls covering the 6-point spread at home. Let's see how it played out. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Denver Nuggets and San Antonio Spurs. The Nuggets and Spurs are diving right into a back-to-back grind, with Game 2 of their home-and-home showdown shifting to San Antonio. Friday night's thriller saw the Spurs pull off a gutsy 113-110 upset in Denver, and now both squads are gearing up for a quick turnaround that promises even more drama. These quirky setups always bring an extra layer of unpredictability, and this one's no different. Let's be real, the Nuggets need to bounce back after Friday's loss. Denver's season has been a roller coaster so far, flashes of brilliance mixed with some head-scratching inconsistency. At 19-14 and 5th in the West, this squad, led by Mike Malone, should be running smoother considering they've got the reigning MVP and arguably the best player on the planet, Nikola Jokic. On Friday, Jokic dropped a ridiculous 41 points, 18 boards, and 9 dimes, doing everything but time the Spurs' shoelaces. The problem? He's not getting enough help, and that's been the story too often this season. Jokic's numbers are bunkers: 31 points, 13.2 rebounds, and 9.7 assists a game, but basketball's a team sport, and Denver's supporting cast needs to step up. Jamal Murray's starting to find his groove after a rocky start, but he's still got another level to hit. With Aaron Gordon likely out again, the Nuggets lose a key glue guy who makes those little plays that don't always show up in the box score, but make a huge impact. Denver's been perfect in back-to-backs this year, winning all 6, but road games like this are a different feast. They're sitting at a shaky 9-9 away from home. The Spurs, on the other hand, are balling out way above expectations. They're sitting 8th in the West at 18-16, and for a team in the middle of a rebuild, they're punching way above their weight class. Friday's win wasn't just another W, it was a statement, led by Victor Wembanyama putting on a clinic. The kid's already looking like a franchise cornerstone in just his second season. He dropped 35 points and snagged 18 rebounds on Jokic's home court, showing why the Spurs are so high on him. Sure, his 8 turnovers were ugly, but that's growing pains for you. His 25.9 points and 10.3 rebounds per game are proof that this dude is the real deal. Devin Vassell has been a solid contributor since coming back from injury, and Chris Paul, while not the scorer he once was, is still the floor general every young team needs. Mitch Johnson deserves a ton of credit for stepping in for Greg Popovich and keeping this team focused through adversity. That said, back-to-back games haven't been kind to the Spurs. They've only managed to win 2 out of 5 this season in those situations. If they want to take down Denver twice in 24 hours, they'll need to clean up the turnovers and crash the boards like their season depends on it. For the Nuggets, the blueprint is clear. Jokic has to be Jokic, but he needs help. They'll try to use him to stretch the floor and pull Wembanyama out of the paint, opening lanes for guys like Christian Braun and Russell Westbrook to attack. Murray has to win his matchup against Chris Paul, especially with Paul's defensive speed not what it used to be. For San Antonio, it's all about sticking to what worked Friday, winning the battle on the glass, and making Denver work for every shot. Wembanyama's got to bring that same energy, but he can't do it alone. Vassell and Keldon Johnson have to chip in offensively to keep the Nuggets' defense honest. This one's shaping up to be another nail-biter, but I'm leaning toward Denver to pull it out. They've been money in back-to-backs, and they've got the extra motivation after Friday's letdown. Jokic won't let this team drop 2 in a row to the Spurs. I expect a tight game, but the Nuggets' experience and firepower should carry them over the finish line. Let's call it Denver by a slim margin. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors. The Memphis Grizzlies are rolling into this matchup fresh off a tough loss to the Kings, dropping a 138-133 thriller. That scoreline tells you everything. This squad has fight in them, even when the chips are down. They're sitting pretty in second place in the West at 23-12, and honestly, they've been impressive despite a season riddled with injuries to key guys like Ja Morant, Santi Aldama, and Marcus Smart. Morant might be sidelined, but this team knows how to function without him. It's like they've been built to weather his absences. Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. have stepped up big time, and their undefeated record in back-to-backs this season? That's no fluke. 5 games, 5 wins. These guys embrace the grind and keep finding ways to compete. On the other side, the Warriors are coming off a beat down of the Sixers, dismantling Philly 139-105. Impressive? Sure, but let's not forget, this Warriors team has been a roller coaster. At 17-16, they're barely holding on to the 9th spot in the West. And now, with Steph Curry sitting out, along with Brandon Podziemski and Gary Payton too, things aren't looking so rosy. Curry is the heartbeat of the squad, and without him orchestrating the offense, Golden State tends to struggle. Their shooting can go ice cold, and while Jonathan Kuminga and Draymond Green bring hustle, the firepower just isn't the same. Memphis, even with their banged-up roster, has a way of dictating the tempo. They lead the league in transition buckets, and that's a nightmare for a Warriors team missing its floor general. The Grizzlies thrive in chaos. They push the pace, get out on the break, and force teams to play at their speed. Golden State might have had a good night against Philly, but Memphis is a whole different animal. The Grizzlies don't just outpace you, they outwork you. Now, I get it, back-to-backs are no cakewalk, but Memphis? They eat these for breakfast. They've got the depth and the confidence to handle it. Meanwhile, Golden State is still trying to figure out how to make things click without Curry. And let's be real, even at full strength, the Warriors haven't been world beaters lately. Over the past month and a half, they're just 3-7 straight up and against the spread. Not exactly inspiring stuff. Here's the deal. I know the Warriors have that home court advantage, and their defense is nothing to scoff at, but Memphis has the edge in this one. Their pace, grit, and ability to close out games in tough situations make them the smarter pick. I'm taking the Grizzlies to cover the plus 3.5 spread. They've got the tools to exploit Golden State's vulnerabilities, and I just don't see the Warriors keeping up without Steph running the show. Could the Dubs pull it off? Maybe. But if you're asking me, I'm rolling with the Grizzlies. This squad just knows how to get it done. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Atlanta Hawks and Los Angeles Clippers. Alright, let's break down this clash between the Hawks and the Clippers, hoop style. Atlanta's in the middle of a grueling road stretch, and let's just say it's been rough. They just got clobbered by the Lakers, 119-102, dropping them to 18-17. Trae Young was straight up cooking with 33 points, and Jalen Johnson chipped in 19, but the rest of the squad? Missing in action. The offense looked out of sync, the defense had more holes than a spaghetti strainer, and the whole vibe was off. If you're the Hawks, this isn't the energy you want to bring if you're serious about making noise in the East. Man, Atlanta is a straight roller coaster. One night, they've got you thinking they're contenders, and the next, it's like they forgot how to play. Trae's a magician on offense, no doubt, but his defense? Let's just call it a work in progress. And those heat-check threes? They can be electrifying or absolutely maddening. Bogdan Bogdanovic is finally back after some injury woes, but this squad just hasn't found its groove yet. 5 games on the road is no joke, and you can see it's taking a toll. Now let's flip it to the Clippers. They're sitting at 19-15, not terrible, but not exactly flexing either. That 116-98 beatdown by the Thunder? Yeah, that was rough. Amir Coffey leading the scoring with 26? Respect to him, but when he's your top guy, something's not clicking. This team's gone through some big changes. Paul George is out, James Harden is in, and Kawhi Leonard's availability feels like a coin flip. Harden's been doing his thing, but consistency is still a question mark with this squad. Here's the thing about the Clippers, though, they hang their hat on defense. They're one of the best in the league at locking teams down, and that's kept them afloat. After a tough road trip, they're back home, rested, and looking to bounce back. Meanwhile, the Hawks are on a second night of a back-to-back. That's a killer, especially in the middle of a brutal road grind. Atlanta's been a mixed bag on back-to-backs, splitting 6 so far this season. History-wise, these two teams are dead even, splitting their last 10 meetings. But here's where it gets interesting. The Clippers are 10-6 at home, and with fresher legs, they've got a clear edge. If I'm calling this one, I'm rolling with the Clippers to cover that minus 5-point spread. The Hawks are too unpredictable, especially on the road and on short rest. Plus, I think LA's defense is going to stifle Atlanta's offense and force them into tough shots. That's why I'm also leaning toward the under on 229.5 total points. This feels like a gritty, defensive battle, with the Clippers pulling away late to seal the deal. Let's see how it all unfolds.